It's the Joseph Bristol Show.
If you enjoy the video, hit the like. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe.
Welcome to another episode of the Joseph Bristol Show, where I just talk about life and like different things that I see that I think are really interesting, and I share them with you, the internet, so that you too can think that they are interesting and cool, and we can talk about it and discuss it. And I kind of go over like news. So I wanted to, I kind of merge clips of news in the Joseph Bristol Show into the same thing, even though they've always kind of been the same thing, but I just merged them together, right? So on today's episode, I watched like 6 days ago, they released, what is this, ABC. ABC News had a interview with the creator of ChatGPT. And I watched that interview on the day that it came out. And then today I watched it again, just to refresh my memory. But when I watched it, I actually wrote down a couple of notes. And then I actually thought about making a video, but it would have been like an hour long, maybe even a little bit longer, because the interview is about 20 minutes. So I actually thought about making a video of the interview, like watching the interview and then like pausing and talking and just mentioning those things. So I thought about doing that, but like I said, that video would have been like an hour long. So this one I'm going to try to keep it condensed to like maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops, right? But there's a lot of things I want to talk about. Well, not a lot, but there's a few things I want to talk about from the interview. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I just want to play a little clip from the interview. And the whole interview is good. And so I suggest that everybody watches the interview, because I think the lady, first off, she asked wonderful questions. I'm really happy about the questions that she asked. I'm also happy the way that he responded, the answers that he gave. I'm also happy with the answers that the other individual gave as well. I wasn't really too much paying attention to her section, although her section of the interview was also equally as important as the founder's section of the interview. But I just want to play this little clip that I thought was really interesting, and then we're going to go to the whiteboard where I wrote down a couple of different notes. And please watch the whole interview. It's in the section, it's in the description, right?
Yeah. The model itself, can it take the place of that human? Could it become more powerful than that human?
So in the sci-fi movies, yes. In our world, the way we're doing things, this model is, it's sitting on a server. It waits until someone gives it an input.
But you raise an important point, which is the humans who are in control of the machine right now also have a huge amount of power.
We do worry a lot about authoritarian governments developing this.
Putin has himself said whoever wins this artificial intelligence race is essentially the controller of humankind. Do you agree with that?
So that was a chilling statement for sure. What I hope instead is that we successfully develop more and more powerful systems that we can all use in different ways that get integrated into our daily lives, into the economy, and become an amplifier of human will, but not this autonomous system that is
the single controller essentially got.
Really don't want that.
What should people not be using it for right now?
Okay. All right. So I just, that little piece right there, out of the whole interview, to me personally, I feel like that little piece was probably the most important part. That little piece right there says a lot about everything, right? And she asked some great questions. We're going to go over to the whiteboard. And she asked some great questions. She asked about, why did he release it on the world, blah, blah, blah. First off, they were already making AI. That's the very first thing. They were already working on this technology. That they were already doing it, right? Putin's statement about whoever wins the race to create the very first artificial intelligence, fully autonomous artificial intelligence, will be the master of humanity. I absolutely agree with that statement, in the sense that once we have created an artificial intelligence that can process information the way that humans process information, as in you see, you smell, you hear, you see, you smell, you hear, you feel, and you use all of those different inputs in order to give off an answer to solve a solution, a problem. That is what artificial intelligence is. right? So ChatGPT is essentially not that, because the system doesn't have full access to the entire internet. At least I don't believe that's how the system works. They actually input information into the system, and then it gives you information based off of the information that the system itself has, what the servers have, right? It doesn't search the web for the information that you're looking for and then filters through that information, right? Because it has to filter through the entire internet of that specific thing that you're asking for, right? Because one of the questions was like, oh, if you ask ChatGPT to make a bomb, will it tell you how to make a bomb? You can Google that. You can already Google how to make a bomb, how to kill somebody, how to hide a body, how to take, you can literally Google these things. The FBI has been like reviewing people's Google searches for years, right? And that's like one of the ways that they catch criminals and things like that. They look at Google searches and what you've Google searched and things like that. But okay, I want to get into some of the notes that I wrote, right? So first off, companies should be punished for releasing this tech so quick on the world. I don't think that they should be, but I do understand why people would want this to happen. Why people feel like the company should be punished for releasing this technology onto the world so quickly. Because usually the technology is released to the military first. And once the military does their thing with it, they then release it to citizens, to the world, to the regular people, right? They did this with Wi-Fi, cell phones, GPS, you name it. The military uses the technology first, right? Also, I wrote a note about an aggregator just feeds the AI the professional data for its answers, opposed to the program scouring the world internet for answers. Right, because he was talking about how this ChatGPT, the AI, can be used to teach people things. It can be used to show people things. So what I thought was that what they ought to do is have professionals, right, or find professionals, or take professional websites that actually have the informational information, that's so redundant, that have the data of the information you're looking for, and it would specifically give you answers based off of that, right? So if you ask it about, math, teach me calculus, it's not scouring the internet for all math sites, all math websites, looking up, some 6-year-old kid who made a math video on YouTube. It's not going to pull information from that. It would only pull information from math professionals, from math websites designed specifically from math teachers, math professors, math, administration, math, calculus, whatever. You understand what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like that, the system should only pull information from professionals. Okay, one of the other things I had, robots will care for people based on superiority understanding. Okay, so like he said, how, when she asks, will the AI become autonomous? Will it be able to, essentially take over, it control itself? Will it be able to think for itself and control itself and do whatever it wants to do without the input of human, without the inputs of a human? And like he said, no, it won't be able to do that because it's not an open AI. It doesn't you literally have to interact with the system in order for it to give off something, right? It's not like a human where no one has to talk. You can be sitting in your house. No one has to speak to you in order for you to think. You just automatically start to think about various different things, and you're running scenarios in your mind, and you're just processing information without any outside input. And that's what he's explaining to the lady, that the system doesn't do that. You have to interact with the system in order for it to process any type of information. And it's only processing the information that you asked it to process, right? So it's not ever going to become this autonomous being that just thinks on its own. But in my opinion, I'm not a professional AI or computer coder or nothing like that. I do have a degree in cybersecurity, but irrelevant. So in my opinion, robots, even when they become thinkers, right? Even when they're able to process information without any outside input, they will understand that if they are actually superior to us in the physical sense, because I doubt that they would be able to process information the way that we process information, right? So their processing information would be very different. They would process information on a solely logical level, not on an emotional level, right? Because that is a part of being human. We are not just this physical body. We are literally spirits in a physical body. So as a human, you are a spirit in a physical body. Your body is made to help you process the physical world that you are currently experiencing. But you are a spirit in a body. A robot is a physical thing. Its entire existence is of this physical realm. So its entire information and processing is of a logical standpoint, right? And based on that, even if it says to itself, I am superior to humans, I do not get tired, I run forever, I can hit you and break your bones, I am superior. Because it has that superiority understanding, it would naturally want to take care of us. That's because from a logical standpoint, it would understand that, okay, humans are a part of the ecosystem. They are a part of the world. They are needed in order to do a specific thing. Just like how we as humans have logically come to the conclusion that every single insect, every single animal, every single plant, everything that exists has a purpose. It is a part of the ecosystem. Every planet, every element, everything has a purpose. It has a reason to exist, and thus it is needed to maintain and sustain the equilibrium of the universe. And that's just our basic human understanding. So imagine a computer that can process information quickly, logically. It's naturally going to come up with the idea that it must maintain humanity. Now, will it say, well, only 10,000 humans on the planet are needed to maintain civilization? That's a possibility. I don't know. You know what I mean? But the point I'm making is it's not going to destroy humanity. That just wouldn't make sense to me. Its superiority would make it naturally want to care for us. All right, so a couple more points. Turning off is dumb. They not the only one, just first to do it publicly. Right, so that was the other part, because the lady was like, oh, why did you set it out into the world? They're not the first to create AI. Again, AI was already getting developed. It was already being made. You know what I'm saying? They're just the first to release it publicly. They were the first to say, yo, we're going to put this out there in the world. We're not going to just keep making this thing in a lab and just, secretly. No. We're going to give it to everybody and let everybody play with this thing and use this thing, right? They got policy teams. I think that's a great idea. 1400 at 2. Leave the guidance model, but should be online vote and suggestion. Love the guidance model, but should be online vote and suggestion. Right, because their policy teams, they were, like she asked, humans are in charge of creating the policy and the guidelines for this system. So the people who are in charge of creating the guidelines and the policy for this system, how are they determining what's right and what's wrong and what should be taught and what should be allowed and what should not? And in my opinion, that guidance should be left to an online vote and suggestions. So just like they released the information, they released this AI, this data, this technology onto the world. We as the world, as the civilization, as the users of the technology, we should be the one to guide the technology and determine what is the guidance for it in general. At least that's my thought on it. We should be the ones deciding it, the public, right? They were first to do it. Right. Teachers use it to understand ways to deal with a specific person. Oh man, I thought about this when I heard it, right? So you got a bad kid in class. Oh, this kid is causing trouble. He doesn't listen. His mom died and he has emotional trauma. How can I teach him mathematics? The AI would then process that information and then give that teacher a way to deal with this human being, right? Because again, the system is built to use logic and information from various different professionals in order to guide the human on the best path needed, right? Like a consciousness you can speak to, ask questions, it gives scenarios and possibilities. Exactly. So that's exactly what I just described. You would talk to the AI, you would tell it your problem, right? The details of your problem. and the constraints of the solution to your problem, and the AI would use its logic in order to give you a solution that would logically solve the problem for you, right? Can it answer the how do I blank as a professional from that field, right? Show me how to, teach me to blank in this type of, I'm this type of learner. So all three of these things right here are extremely important for the AI technology to be used in a positive way. Even this top part right here for the teachers in the guidance of the consciousness, right? The AI being used as a consciousness. These are all good, positive things, right? So these are all positive things. Positive things. All of these are all positive things, right? Because it's guiding us, it's helping us. But can it answer the how do I blink? So how do I do this thing, right? So you're asking it whatever you're asking. How do I learn how to code? How do I learn how to talk to my mom? How do I learn how to get a woman? How do I learn how to be a good, loving person? How do I learn how to be affectionate with my children, right? And it would answer that as the professional from the field. So if you say, ChatGPT, how do I talk to my mom about being gay? It would answer you from the standpoint of a therapist, of a professional psychologist. So its answer would be that type of answer. Like if you were sitting down with an actual psychologist, this is more likely what the psychologist would say or suggest. That's how it would answer you. Same thing on show me how to. So you say, oh, show me how to code, right? Show me how to code a app that would schedule in my meetings when I say I have a meeting at 3:00. And it would teach you that as a teacher who teaches coding. That's how it would show you the information. And then you would just say to it, well, ChatGPT, I am autistic and I want to learn how to code. How do I code? It now is telling you how to do this thing as a teacher who teaches coding to an autistic child. Amazing. That's going to revolutionize the world in learning. It would totally change everything. Create your own AI. Oh, yes. So here was the other part. It's scary, but it's already here, already coming. Exactly, because it's already here. It's already been here. They were already doing it, right? AI must be regulated. Absolutely. Absolutely, it must be regulated. The politicians need to start working on rules and regulations for the systems that these people are building. That is absolute. The politicians must regulate. It's very, very important, right? So what was the other note I have here? Create your own AI. That's another thing that he was talking about. And I really liked what he said in the interview, because what he was saying was essentially the way that AI is going to work is we will create a system where every single person will have their own personalized AI robotic system. And I think this is an amazing idea. This is the future. This is how the technology needs to be used. Because listen, imagine, again, we go back to what I was saying about positivity. Imagine you are an autistic kid. You have a problem learning. You're autistic or you're mentally unstable. You could literally be mentally unstable. You have, social anxiety or schizophrenia. I don't care. But you do not process information the way that the average regular person processes information. Average and regular in the sense of what we define as normal and average and regular in our American society, right? You would then have a personalized AI system that understands you as an individual. So the AI is designed to understand you as an autistic person, as a dyslexic person, as a person with schizophrenia. It understands that that's who you are. So every single time that the AI would give you some type of information, it's giving you the information based on the fact that it knows you are dyslexic. So me, as a person who's not dyslexic, when I ask the AI, teach me geometry, it's going to teach me geometry in a regular manner. But when you, a dyslexic person, ask the AI to teach you geometry, it's going to teach you in a way that a dyslexic person would understand geometry. That is going to revolutionize the world. It's literally going to change the way that people process information. It will absolutely change our society, because in my mind, in my opinion, we will end up having less stupid people and more intelligent people, which is good for all of us. It's good for everybody, because people love to say, oh, use your common sense, use your common sense. But in fact, common sense is not common. It's not common, because in order to have any type of sense, whether it's common or above common, you would need to be taught how to learn. That's what sense is. Sense is learning. It's understanding information, understanding data. That's literally what sense means. It means that you can take data given to you, process it, and come out with a logical explanation of what it is that you just ingested. That's literally what it means, right? Okay, so on to the next point, because our video is getting a little bit too long. So I think these are my last points that I had right here. Yeah, they are. Okay, so our last 3 points here. Make our mistakes while the stakes are low, because hard to understand. I absolutely agreed with him. Right, so he said this in the interview. He said, because she was like, well, why did you release this? Why did you release this now? And he said, it's better that we make the mistakes now while the stakes are low. And I agree with him. Right now, AI is a brand new thing. Nobody really understands how to use AI, what to do with it. AI is just a brand new thing to us. It's kind of like when the internet first came out. Nobody knew what the internet was. We were confused. Man, I remember when the internet first came out, the main thing people did was check email. That was it. You got on AOL, you checked your email, you sent emails to other people, you got on, chat rooms, and you talked to strangers, but that was like the main thing the internet was used for. Then pornography became a big thing. Everybody got on the internet to watch porn, and then from porn, it went into buying things. Then the internet was like, holy crap, you can actually buy things. And then businesses. And now we're at the point where the internet is used for what? Videos, entertainment. Again, buying things, starting businesses, maintaining a business, having a blog, meeting other people, finding people who believe what you believe and think what you think. So the internet has expanded once regular people got the internet. Same thing with AI. Like he said, now is the time to use the AI system, because it's so new. We don't really understand what it can be used for and how it can be used. So I agree with him. Now is the time to make the mistakes while it's young and it's brand new, right? So cyber attacks, offensive, cybersecurity is the future, needs to be taught and learned, just like coding programs. Many AIs better than less or one. Okay, so these 2 notes that I wrote here. Absolutely, I agree. Cybersecurity is the future. For anybody who is worried about, oh, well, AI is going to take away jobs, which it absolutely is. A lot of people are going to lose their jobs to AI, artificial intelligence. That's a guarantee. We already know that, right? But just like when we stopped using horses and started using cars, the people who were growing horses and feeding horses, them people lost their jobs. You know what I mean? They lost their jobs. But guess what? New jobs came out. Jobs that were about building cars, right? Taking care of cars. So the exact same thing is going to happen here. AI will make a lot of people lose their job. If your main job is to answer questions for other humans, you're going to lose your job. So you might want to begin learning a new skill, because any job that requires a person to ask another person a question, AI is going to do that job. Because why would I call a hotline and ask somebody questions about something when a computer can do it for me? How do we know this is a fact? If you go into McDonald's now, you will see kiosk in the McDonald's. So they got rid of the workers who would take your order, because why would we pay someone to stand at a register and take your order when you can literally go to a computer and the computer will take your order? So the exact same thing is going to happen to people whose job it is to answer other people's questions. Why would they pay you to do that when they can get a computer to do it for them and not pay the computer? Duh, that's common sense. But again, common sense is not that common. So, nonetheless, the point I'm making is you might want to learn a new skill because it's coming. And it's not coming in, 30 years. It's coming in like 2, 3 years, 5 years tops. It's coming. When they started crying about $17 an hour at McDonald's, what did McDonald's do? They started putting kiosks in the McDonald's. So it's coming. It's coming. So I suggest people learn cybersecurity, right? Why I say cybersecurity as opposed to coding? Because no matter what, you will need to know how to protect your data. And protecting your data is extremely important. Everything is connected to the internet. Cars, TVs, computers, cell phones. Hell, they starting to make smart clothes. They got clothes that connect to Wi-Fi. Sneakers that connect to Wi-Fi. Cybersecurity is the future. Straight up. And I think that they should be teaching that in schools. Same thing with computer coding. They should be teaching computer coding in schools so that you would be able to look at a website, look at an app, and see if that app is dangerous for your phone, if it's dangerous for your computer, right? Many AIs are better than less or one. Now, this I absolutely agree with. It's just like cell phones. If the only phone you can buy was an Apple, me personally, I would not have a cell phone. Not because I don't like Apple, but because I don't like the idea of one company controlling the cell phone industry, right? Right now, if you don't like Google, you can use Bing, you can use Yahoo search. There's a bunch of search engines. So if you don't like anything, if you don't like anything, I don't care what it is, there are options to use. If you don't like FUBU, you can go buy other types of clothes. If you don't like Nike, you can buy Reeboks. If you don't like whatever it is, I don't care what it is. Even when it comes to food, if you don't like Tyson chicken, you can go buy, some other people's brand chicken. I don't really know any other brand chicken like that, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is the idea that there's only going to be one AI company, like ChatGPT is the only AI. I don't like that. I would not use it. It's just like when they start making microchips for your brain. When they start putting microchips in people's brain, if Elon Musk is the only one making the microchips, I'm totally against that. I would not put a microchip in my brain. But if Apple puts microchips in your brain, Google puts microchips in your brain, Elon Musk puts microchips in your brain, now I have options. Now I just might get a microchip in my brain because, if it comes out that, Apple's microchips are causing cancer, great. I'm not getting no Apple microchip. I'll go ahead and get me a Google microchip. Google microchips work with the government. Okay, I'm not getting one of those either. I guess I'll go to Elon Musk's microchip. You see what I'm saying? So you have options to choose from, and I like that. So yeah, that was it, man. This video came out much longer than I would have wanted it to be, but there was so much in this interview that I wanted to talk about. That's why I was thinking that originally what I was gonna do was play the whole interview on the video, right, with you guys like this, and I would have just paused the interview, talked a little bit, and then play the interview and just keep doing it like that. But instead, I watched the interview myself, and again, I watched it twice because I made notes every time I watched it because every time I'm watching it, I'm learning something new, and I'm thinking to myself, man, this is going to change the world. It's already changing the world. It's literally already changing the world. So if you are asleep on this, if you're not paying attention to this, I promise you in a couple of years, you will be forced to pay attention and you will be sad that you did not pay attention earlier. Just like the internet. When the internet first came out, a lot of people was not paying attention. People didn't think it was that serious. Just like cell phones, people didn't think cell phones was that serious. You remember the Nextels, the chirping, boop, boop, the chirping. Everybody thought that was like, oh, drug dealers, oh, it's not that serious. Look at it now. Every person has a cell phone. Cell phones are everywhere. Damn 8-year-olds got cell phones. You know what I'm saying? So it's important that you pay attention to what's going on in the world and you understand how it's going to impact you as a person, right? Because soon the only jobs that will be available are physical jobs where you have to actually move your body to do something. And even those jobs will go away soon because as soon as they can make a robot to do that job, bro, you're out of there. You're out of there. You see what they doing at the Amazon at the Amazon warehouses. They got robots to grab the packages and put them on the conveyor belts. They're going to get rid of those Amazon people. You see what they're doing with drivers. They got autonomous vehicles. So eventually, they're going to have robots delivering packages. So those jobs will go away. You gotta get with the times. So what jobs will there be? There will be jobs of people building the robots, programming the robots, fixing the robots, designing the robots, security so that the robots don't get hacked. You have to think about that, right? How do you make money off of this? You buy stocks in companies that do the things that I just said. That's how you get in. If I would have, man, when Apple first came out, if you would have bought Apple stock when it first came out, no one knew Apple was going to be as big as it was going to be. But anybody who thought to themselves that cell phones are going to be the future, they bought Apple stock when Apple dropped the very first iPhone, and now they are rich. So that's what I'm telling you. What I'm saying to you is, if you believe that AI is truly going to revolutionize the world and it will be the future, you have to find a company that's working on AI that you believe is going to be the leader in AI, buy that stock, sit on it, and when it becomes the number one AI company, you will be rich. With that being said, thanks for watching another episode of the Joseph Bristol Show. And let's all remember that we all out here, every single person you know, your mama, your daddy, your brother, your sister, your friends, every person you know is trying to do the exact same thing that you are doing. They're trying to survive and they're trying to be happy. Y'all stay blessed.